Hey everyone, welcome to Happy Endings. I'm Edie Sellers, and with me is Holy Goalie, Nick Nicola. Just had lunch and a little R&R after we had our show. Hey, I'm sorry, I'm low energy. I don't know if you've been following the whatchamacallit, that thing, Facebook, but I came down with a case of the hives yesterday. And so now I'm high on Benadryl, trying to make them go away. Yeah,
that thing,
that stuff,
Facebook.
The little pink something. Different.
Yeah. Hey, did you guys happen to watch that movie, The Dome, or Under the Dome?
No.
Yeah, I did.
That was, I saw that concept and I knew it was a book, and I was like, boy,
Stephen
that
King,
is
right?
Yeah, that is a really neat concept.
What is the concept?
Yeah.
Basically, it's a small town in Maine, and everybody's just going about doing whatever they do, and all of a sudden, boom! This thing just slams down and hits the ground, and it actually cut a cow in half.
That was cool.
Yeah, and if cut some lady's arm off, and then a plane was flying, and it crashed, and then a truck was driving down the street, and it crashed. So they realized there was this invisible force field around this town, and everybody on the other side, they like, you could see them, but you couldn't even hear them. You would like scream and yell, and they couldn't hear you. So all these people in this town are trapped inside this dome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's where it is right now. And there's something. Obviously, they've got twists and turns in the town. Something about they had all these deliveries of propane gas coming in. So there's obviously somebody may have known, or I don't know. It's kind of weird what's going on. But right now, the pilot was last night, and the dome just dropped on this city. And if you were in the city, you're in it. And if you were on the outside, you're out. And that's just the way it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Neat concept, though.
Yeah. What I'm really happy is I've heard people talk about it as a miniseries, which I really like because that means that hopefully they'll answer what the dome is.
Yeah.
By the end of the season. Because if they don't answer what it is by the end of the season, I'm out. I don't. Yeah, I enjoyed Lost, but I don't want to stick around for another 6 seasons.
Yeah, you can only drag that out so long.
Mm-hmm.
You really. Yeah, obviously they need to. There's the whole. When I read about the book, I haven't read I'm going to probably get the book, but I heard it's long. It's like 1,000 pages.
Yeah, but it's Stephen King.
Yeah, it's all about the sheriff has a secret, and the counselor who's trying to run the town has a secret, and the doctor's got a secret, and just there's all this stuff kind of going on in the town on top of the dome. So you'll find a lot of the political intrigue probably woven into the show, and not so much the dome. Which sucks because I'm like you. I want to know what the dome is and who put it there and how they get it away and what they were expecting to accomplish by this dome.
I'm not really interested in starting a whole nother series, although I should be because all of my big series that I watch, Game of Thrones, Nurse Jackie, those are all on hiatus for a good long time. So... But
this Sunday, the final season of Dexter begins. I'm excited.
Yeah, there's Dexter's coming up. Newsroom's coming up. Oh, I love the Newsroom.
That was kind of a lame show.
I do love the Newsroom. The acting is so good. Even Olivia Munn is really good.
Yeah, that's right. She's in that. That was like, wow, thumbs up to her. She parlayed her G4 time into an actual career.
Yep.
Good for her, but I was never a fan of hers.
I was never a fan of hers on G4. Well, she wasn't hired because she knew anything about games. She admitted when she started, she goes, that's my weak spot, is games. It's like, well, then why are you on G4?
I thought she worked well with Kevin. Kevin was awesome.
Yeah, Kevin was awesome. Kevin...
He could work with you, Nick.
He's just a good host.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he'd make
he could be a good host with anyone. He elevated those around him.
You know where he grew up? Antioch.
Where? Really?
He's an Antioch boy. He's East County. Go figure. That means nothing to you, Gully, but
no,
it's kind of a little hick town.
Yeah.
Just
but she played well off of him, and then when I saw her in some of her other things, I was like, you're not.
Yeah, like on the Daily Show, she was okay.
Yeah, I not really understood where the Daily Show came from because she really, the people that they tend to bring on their comedy, they're heavy hitters in comedy, and I would consider her a good actress, but I certainly wouldn't consider her.
Yeah, well, she has good comedic timing, and she does like the super straight, super dry sense of humor really well. But like at times, it's hard to tell. Oh, is this part of the act, or are you like kind of dumb? Because she does that monotone, dry humor so well.
Right.
Yeah.
And it works on Newsroom so well because she's supposed to be super smart and completely socially inept, which is kind of cool. And it's got that, Alan Sorkin.
Get a role that plays to your strengths.
Yeah, she definitely does not have that. So it's a good thing.
Yeah, so I got going back to Dome there. As somebody in the chat room was asking. I think it was NBC or CBS. It was one of the major networks, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I forget which one it was.
Tanya asks in the chat room, what channel does it air on, G? I'm assuming she's talking about Under the Dome or whatever.
Yeah, so I've just seen it.
Newsroom is on HBO.
Yeah.
Yeah, Newsroom's HBO. Dome is CBS or NBC. It's on last. It's funny, my brother doesn't have cable TV or anything like that. He just has on-the-air antenna. So he's posting all week. Dome and roll. I'm going to go to work and then I'm going to be on the Dome. All these references to domes. It was kind of funny. And then was it on Monday night or Sunday night? Whenever it come on, he posts, "Oh man, it's on at 10. I'm not going to." I was like, "Well, what do you think?" So he says, "I said, what'd you DVR?" He goes, "What's DVR?" So he can't do any. He can't even watch it. So he doesn't have cable or anything, so he's got no way to tape it. So it's like, well, you either stay up, or I don't know if Hulu will have it or something like that. But he was so excited to see the Dome, and then he's like, 10 o'clock. He goes, "Well, I won't be watching the Dome for 6 months, so it comes on Netflix."
Yeah, because man, if you think about it, if you can't then stream it afterwards, what can you do?
Yeah.
If you don't have on demand because you don't have cable, if you can't stream it on the website.
Well, he's a big fan of Walking Dead too, and he's just like,
okay.
So he's kind of screwed because he doesn't have the TV. So
wait, how does he get Walking Dead if he doesn't have cable?
I think it was on Netflix or Amazon or something. I think he used to buy episodes and watch them on Amazon.
Okay, that makes sense.
So I was like, well, I said, you should check out the Hulu app. I think, what's Hulu, like $7 or $8 a month or something?
Yeah.
And you can watch all those network. I don't watch network TV. In fact, I'm surprised I even watch this.
Well, it's a cool concept. I mean,
but yeah, if you're into all those shows, if you're into, Lost and all that stuff that comes out on network TV, Hulu's great for that because you can watch it a couple days later. I mean, for me, it's just a DVR. Bam, I just DVR whatever. But it looked like an interesting concept. So I got the book, but man, I tell you, 1,000 pages. Ugh. Exactly what I'm reading right now? I'm reading Ayn Rand. What the heck is that I'm reading?
The
Atlas Shrugged?
The big one?
No, not Atlas Shrugged. That I have that one. I haven't read it yet. I see
it's
that
a beautifully written book. Oh, such a
beautiful. The movie is part 2's coming out, or is already out, or something like that. Well, what was the short one about the future? That people were all numbers. Oh man!
Well, I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's the one that 2112 by Rush was actually written about.
I know. Yeah, what was her other one? Because I know she has like kind of two.
It's only like
books everyone knows.
No.
Anthem, We the Living.
Really? I
think it was Anthem.
Okay.
It was a short story. It's actually pretty cool. But it's basically, if you ever listen to Rush 2112, that's what this is about, almost to the T. That's probably why I'm reading it. And it's just about a society where you grow up and you can almost picture like a Logan's Run society. Everybody has these robes on and there's no technology. And it said that it took them 50 years to approve the use of candles in this society. And so now they have all these people making candles, and it's up. So you go to school and you grow up and you do certain things, and you're given a number, like your Independence 4054 or something like that, or your all these crazy numbers and names that they give people, and so you get to a certain point when you get to like 14 to 15 years old, they assign you a job for the rest of your life. And he was talking about how some people go to the house of scholars and they study, and some other people go to the house of inventors, and so other people go to, and he comes up and the counselor goes, street sweeper. and he's so it's all about, it's basically about oppressing people, just putting them in their roles, and it's just there's no more nothing. It's just there's no war, there's no nothing, because they get rid of all emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm about halfway. It's not a very long book. I take forever to read stuff. That's why I don't know if I want to get the Dome, because it takes so long for me to read.
Yeah, I'm with you. I tried starting a 1,000-page book a year ago, got 200 pages in, and just kind of trailed off.
Yeah. And my problem, either that or I wouldn't stop reading it, and I would like miss work and stuff like that because I'd be so into it. Because that's what I'll do. I'll get into a book and it won't stop. But yeah, so I was reading that book there, but I want to finish that. I only got like 20 more pages to go, but it takes me forever to read.
So back on the issue of gaming, Ouya is out today. $99, $99.99, $100.
No, so no,
are you going to get it?
Games for it? How do you get games for it?
It's all on.
You can download them.
Yeah, all downloadable.
So I take it takes memory cards or something?
Nope. It's all downloadable. I think it's cloud storage, isn't it?
Oh, no. I thought there's some form of media, like you can plug in a hard drive or something.
Yeah, I think that.
All right, so what do you get? You get a controller and a box, or what do you get?
Yep.
And you plug it up to your TV?
Yep.
And it's what, Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi for...
How do you
Internet.
get games? Yeah.
Oh, internet. I'm sorry. I don't know.
I assume it should be Wi-Fi. I hope it would have Wi-Fi. Ethernet, some form of connection.
Yeah, what would that word be? Oh, I'm so high. The first thing to go for me when I'm on Benadryl is language skills, so I'm having a hard time. Information. Let's see.
You think of a connection?
Yeah, trying to find out what the hardware is. It is...
Hey, Squeegee's on. Squeegee, how you doing up there?
There's
man?
one USB port. It's got a gig of RAM. It's HDMI.
So
8 gigs storage in flash memory. Yeah, it's networking. It's an Ethernet, and it's Bluetooth.
So is it on live, basically? Is that how you play games? Or do you download?
No, you download
Well, you can
them.
download them because they're all Android games, so they're all super small.
Right.
So I think it'll take a while to fill up that 8 gig.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get it.
Yeah.
Corey Wallace says he read an article yesterday saying that Ouya will kill the X-Bone on PS4. No.
No.
What's going to kill the X-Bone is the X-Bone.
No. They're two different things. Two very different things.
Very different things. And from what I heard, the Ouya kind of is like good first attempt. Well, let's wait 3 iterations and then it will become like super cool.
Yeah, the connectivity is a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and Ethernet. Which I'm kind of glad that it's Ethernet because everybody talks about how great Wi-Fi is, but I kind of like to have especially games, I kind of like to have those things hardwired in.
All right, Piss Boy's chiming in on the text line, 304-300-9889.
Mm-hmm.
16 gigs internal memory, and you could add an SD card or external memory.
That's our boy.
Okay.
He always knows that shit.
So he is on top of it.
Yep. So out in the wild.
I'd be interested just to play some of those Android games.
Pissboy was very impressed with the games that he played out at Ouya Park at E3.
My only hesitation is that when I've looked at it and I've watched people play around with it and like the kind of games they have, I've heard sort of the big thing is that these are Android games. So it's like, okay, this is cool for 30 seconds and 5 minutes, but then you're done. You're like, okay, what's the next game? And you move on to that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, there's no solid, like, I'm going to sit on my couch and play this for 5 hours experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's not even like the kind of middle ground. I'm going to sit here and play this for 3 hours experience, like you can get on PC.
Yeah, Ouya type games are also always a lot of fun, but I guess we should maybe agree, and maybe that hasn't been done in the collective consciousness. The difference between epic games like Last of Us, like Dragon Age, big stories, huge stories, novels, for all intents and purposes, versus, a pastime, little games that they can have their stories in them, but they're not these grand games with huge amounts of cut screens and a lot of exposition and dialogue and that kind of stuff. They serve two separate purposes. So I don't really see Ouya ever really taking over that market, just simply because it doesn't have access to the publishers, and it also can't run the games in that same way, especially in the next gen, because the machines are so much bigger. Pardon me.
It is. It's a neat idea, though. You wonder if this is like the original Guitar Hero. Could this
maybe
bigger if it catches on?
It might. I think it's always going to be niche. But then again, I never thought we'd see the light of day either. So, what do I know?
Well, there's a difference between actually making it and having it be like a runaway success.
Right.
Like, they made it, but I'm kind of with you. I don't see it being any more than a niche product.
Yep. Exactly.
But, I mean, you can still survive as a niche product.
Yeah. Definitely. Look at Steam. Steam is kind of its own niche product.
I don't know. Steam is pretty.
It's getting, that's true. It's getting more mainstream. But when it first came out, when it was successful, it was definitely a niche.
Mm-hmm.
GOG, that's definitely a niche product, and it's doing very well.
I think it's pretty big.
It's big, but just because it's big doesn't mean that it's not niche. It's old games. It's got its own.
Yeah.
It's not everything. It's not.
It's not trying to be everything to everyone.
It's not mainstream. It's kind of out in a little bit in the boonies of the gaming world, which is fine, and you can be very successful. You can set up a homestead in the boonies and do just fine for yourself, and that's what they've done.
Hey, I want to shout out to AC Wraith out there in the chat room, and AC, hey, Warframe is supposed to be coming to the PlayStation 4. I know you play that on, I believe you play that on Steam, and I kind of like it too. So I was just wondering if you were going to be playing that on a PS4, if you're getting a PS4. What are your thoughts on that? But they did actually, I saw an interview. Where the heck did I see that video interview? They were talking to the guy from Warframe. Oh, do you know what? It was on IGN on my Roku. I think it was either IGN or something like that, Giant Bomb on Roku. And they were talking about bringing Warframe to PS4 and how they're talking about a whole slew of free-to-play games on the PS4. I'm still for World of Tanks to come to Xbox 360. I signed up for the beta, but I didn't get any news on it.
Yeah.
So there's still a whole bunch of games for 360 coming out. I got World of Tanks, which that's probably my next game. Hopefully July on that. Then you got the GTA 5 and Splinter Cell and what else was coming out that was good? Oh, the Saints Row 4, I think.
I'm curious of whether the Ouya can actually survive over the Steam box. The Steam box, I think, is going to kill it.
There is no Steam box
yet, but when it does come out,
well,
they have confirmed that it is coming out, right?
Well, no, they haven't confirmed they're even working on it.
Really?
The Steam box will come out at the same time Half-Life 3 does.
And BioShock Infinite DLC.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's so funny. You read all the headlines today. BioShock Infinite DLC now available. It's not DLC, guys.
No,
it's just it's an add-on pack that everybody that had the premium and the.
Technically, it's DLC. It's downloadable content.
Technically, it is downloadable content, but it's just an add-on. It's not DLC as we know it to be.
It's not the season pass.
It's lockpicks. It's lockpicks.
It's lockpicks and golds and a couple of extra powers and a gun or two, and that's it.
And what would you use it for, really?
Nothing now. I mean, at this point, at this late stage in the game, everybody who has played BioShock Infinite pretty much has finished BioShock Infinite.
I told you.
See you later, Corey.
3 months ago.
Well, you can play it on the harder difficulties.
Hey, Pist has just joined us in that group.
Go back.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that it was kind of foolish of them to. I don't know. Is it foolish of them to delay this DLC so long that people are actually getting upset about it?
I don't think they're delaying it. I think they started working on it after the game shipped, and like Ken Levine said, development takes time because most DLC they start working on it before the game ships,
right.
And that's what pisses a lot of people off. But like the way game production works is that, while your programmers are working on the main game, you can have artists doing pre-production on the DLC, and that doesn't affect the main game. But I don't think that's what...
Yeah, but did we talk about this at one time about how long do you wait for DLC? Remember I used to bitch that it came out too quick? Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, man, I haven't even started playing this game. Now there's DLC coming out. It's coming too fast, and now I'm getting all swamped with, I want to play the game. Remember Skyrim was like one after another DLCs were coming out. And there was another one that did the same thing. It's like, I'm not ready for DLC. Well, 3 months after the game launches, if I think we figured it out. It was 6 weeks was good. That after the game launched, if you give it a month, let everybody play it. But then after 6 weeks, people start going on to other things.
Right.
Attention spans go, and then you get up to 2 months after the game. The game is released. Well, now you're 90 days after I purchased this game.
Right.
Well, and it also depends on what the DLC is.
How so?
Like if it's just a small little 2-hour experience, then that's really annoying. But if it's a solid chunk of side story, I think that's completely justified.
Well, now when did the Borderlands 2
Yes
DLC?
and no, because you look at something like Borderlands DLC, the Tiny Tina just dropped today.
Yeah.
But when you look at Skyrim, for example, I mean that thing. A year later, it's still dropping DLC. That's too long. I don't want to go back to it, especially after playing 300 hours into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
Borderlands 2, didn't they come out with DLC right when we were getting itchy? And they dropped the first.
Yeah, well, they just had a bunch of DLC.
And then they dropped another one short. So they started dropping right before you were getting ready to get rid of it or give up.
Right. What was the first one that they dropped? Oh, that was the pirate one.
Yeah, the booty, the gold.
And then they dropped
the Torque. And then they dropped
Big Game Hunt.
The Game Hunt. Now they get Tiny
Tina. Yeah, let's take a look. I want to look at the
and then in between that they had the Necromancer and the melee guy.
Yeah, the Psycho. Downloadable content. Let's see.
Yeah, they've been impressively steady.
Captain Scarlet released October. Let's see, the game released in September. Captain Scarlet dropped in October, almost 1 month to the day. Sorry, that was the Necromancer pack. Dropped in October. And, at the same time as Captain Scarlet. Then Mr. Torx dropped in November.
To
Sir
compare
Hammerlock
Borderlands 2 and BioShock.
Why?
Because they're two extremely different games. BioShock is such a heavily narrative-driven experience. The DLC requires a lot more effort, I think, than the BioShock and than the Borderlands stuff. And plus, just what those games are, Borderlands really lends itself to expanding concepts. Here we are wondering what the hell the DLC for BioShock even is, because the game itself was such a self-contained story.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, some games lend themselves to DLC, some don't. The Last of Us is supposed to have single-player DLC. I don't know what the hell they're going to do.
Don't wreck it for me. Don't spoil. Don't zip it. Zip.
Nothing.
When a problem comes around, you must zip it.
Superman comes up.
Oh.
I did not realize that. Man of Steel, Last of Us crossover. In fact, that's Superman comes in, destroys all the infected, then destroys Earth, because he is the Last of Us.
He just flies around the planet backwards and changes makes it go backwards
Yeah,
and rewinds time.
Exactly. That's how the game ends.
Yes.
A quick time event of you turning back time with Superman.
Right. I like it. So yeah, they were pulling them out once a month for Borderlands, once a month from September to November. And then Sir Hammerlock's dropped in September to December. And then started doing January. So it's been running like 4 to 6 weeks all the way along. So I liked that schedule. Regardless, I liked that schedule. It was just enough to keep you coming back.
Yeah.
Anything more than I think 6 to 7 weeks, and you're like, I've moved on. And it also has to do with, I think, what other games have come out. Pardon me. What other games have come out since then?
Yeah, that's true.
Because if you're
Like,
4 games past, 4 really big games past what that game you played before, you're not going to want to come back.
Yeah, like one of the reasons I haven't gone back to Borderlands 2 is because of BioShock Infinite.
Right.
What?
Because I was, like, when some of the DLC dropped for Borderlands 2, I was playing BioShock Infinite, and I was like, I don't want to go back and play Borderlands, I'm playing BioShock.
Right. Your mind's already in a different space. And
Yeah.
Eric Cotton says Sir Hammerlock is the only one that wasn't that good. I disagree. I like Sir Hammerlock a lot better than the Captain Scarlet.
What I didn't like about the Borderlands 2 DLC was the new currency. It was so hard to get, and then you would get 8. Like I had 8 of them, and you needed 250 to buy something. Mm-hmm. It was how. So where do you get them? I mean, they're not in boxes. They're not on monsters. So what, you got to do the boss battle 150 times?
Right.
That's the only thing that they really messed up on, was when they introduced the new currency. There wasn't enough of it.
Yeah.
And I didn't buy anything. I mean, you bought me one thing. I think you went in and you bought something for me and you dropped it on the ground. Aside from that, I didn't have enough to buy anything.
Yeah.
Unless you did the racetrack glitch that you were talking about.
Yes, the race track glitch.
You shouldn't have to glitch out.
It wasn't a glitch. It was not a glitch.
Just grinding.
Right. It was a grind, and it was just a grind that we found a very efficient way of doing it. But it's all it was. It was a grind, because glitching intimates that we're doing something wrong that the game never intended you to do. We just found a way to defeat the game. The something you were intended to be able to do, but we just defeated it faster than everybody else.
That makes you sleep at night.
Yeah. I wasn't doing anything that was illegal. I wasn't breaking the game. I wasn't using an exploit for the game. I would say that we were just really clever about about doing it faster than everyone else.
I didn't actually buy the DLC season pass. Looking back, I probably should have, because I bought 2 of them. I haven't bought the other 2. So right now I'm still ahead of the game. Whereas if I buy a 3rd one, then I would have got the 4th free.
Yeah, that's true. So you can't buy anymore.
Yeah, I can't buy without screwing myself right now.
See, I got the season pass, and I've only played 2 of the 4. So it's like, part of me is just like, well, I may as well just go download them for the hell of it.
Yeah, I didn't get the 3rd one, which I don't even remember what the hell it was.
That was Hammerlock.
No, was it?
Mm-hmm. Because it was Captain Scarlet.
Maybe I have 3 of them then.
Captain Scarlet, there
was Pirates, and then there was Torque, and then there was that.
Yeah, Torque.
Yeah, I think I do have 3 of them.
Yeah, so then you've got all the ones except for the Tiny Tina that just came out. Yeah, they definitely did that, I think, right, especially for that genre of the game. Oh my god, my neck is like all of a sudden erupting again.
Really?
Yeah, and I just ate, and it's way worse now than it was just a little while ago. But But all I had was a BLT that was purchased elsewhere.
You must have some kind of food thing going on in a
I don't know. There's nothing the same between, because I didn't eat much for dinner last night just because it was.
You haven't been dragging your butt on the ground, have you?
I have not been dragging my butt on the ground.
Okay, I didn't know if you had worms or something like that.
No, I do not have worms. God, I just really wonder what the fuck is going on with me. Could it be a airborne thing? Because the weather's been weird and maybe something bloomed, but it'd be weird that it would only be attacking my neck and it wouldn't actually be giving me allergies or anything.
I don't know. It's just something just irritating your throat. And...
Yeah, maybe. No, but that's, like I said, the one time I've only had something that was similar, very, very, very mild, was I ate persimmons and had a little bit of a reaction for a few hours, and it went away. This is like the second day, and all of a sudden it's just like erupted again 20 minutes after eating. Weird.
Strange.
Fortunately, it's not itching.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, as long as you can breathe. As long as it doesn't,
I can breathe and it doesn't itch.
Yeah, as long as your throat doesn't swell up. That's
Yeah. Oh, God. If my throat swells up, then I'm out. The show's over. You can carry it. I'm gone because I know that. Yes, I am kind of zombie Edie right now. I look a little bit... my neck is definitely not looking right. It's like if you stared at me, you probably wouldn't notice it. But if I lifted my head and you look, you'd be like, ooh, what's going on with your neck? That is a nasty something.
I can only picture like one of those Last of Us growths coming out of your neck. Like that. I can't imagine anything else going on.
Hey, there was a good article I was reading, getting back to gaming, in the latest Game Informer, and they had the guy from the former THQ on, and he had a pretty good idea that I was kind of thinking too about all this DRM and used games, and that's really a very hot button topic right now. And Edie, you had a really good link on YouTube you sent about the I think it was the English guy talking about used games. And
right.
I agreed with a lot of what he said. There was a couple things that I vastly disagreed with, but a lot of what he said did make sense about games and used games.
Yeah.
And this guy in the magazine, he hit it right on. This is what I was thinking. You got to cut the baby in half here. You really need to. How do I say it? I don't want to say think out of the box, but you gotta. If you're worried about people using used discs to play games, and you want to go to all digital, but we're not at that point yet, maybe you cut the baby in half. And his suggestion was something I thought is that maybe the box titles, the disc titles, the price gets lowered. And you just include less with that. And then when you go online, if you want more, then you can buy more digitally.
Yeah.
So my thinking is, let's just say that the games now are $40 instead of $60, and you get X amount of gameplay on that. Whether it's single player, maybe you get one kind of head. Let's say it's Call of Duty. You get one type of gameplay in a handful of maps. If you want more maps and more gameplay for $20, you download them. So now you're into the game for $60, just like you were.
Right.
With the exception being, if you picked up the game used, you would have to go spend that $20 online. So they would get something out of you if you bought a used game.
Mm-hmm. What I think they should do, like with Call of Duty, or any one of those heavily multiplayer shooters, sell the multiplayer on a disc for $40, because that's the thing people are least likely to trade in. Then sell the single player online for $20, because that's the thing most people would trade in, but then you can't.
Right. That's an interesting thought. Just break it up into two pieces.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I mean, people have talked about that kind of piecemeal gaming for a while, but for some reason, no one's ever pulled the trigger on it.
No, it just I like playing the campaigns. I guess I'm the minority here.
I know I'm totally with you.
But I see where you're going with that. Where this guy was going with that is that if they're worried about selling a $60 game and then I sell it, Nick picks it up for $40, and they don't get a cut of that. Well, what if they sold just a little bit less, and then you didn't have to buy anything online, because if you weren't connected, you couldn't get it anyway. But if you wanted to experience the full game, maybe the full campaign, maybe all the multiplayer, you had to go buy it. Or maybe you split it 30 and 30. Something like that. So that way you hate to spend $60 and then spend another 20 or 30 buying extras. You do feel kind of robbed. But I think that they might have to go some sort of route like that if they're worried about discs and used discs, and we're not at the point to go in all digital yet. is that you cut it in half. You sell the disc for $30 or $40, and then you buy the rest of it online. And you give a couple of maps and a head-to-head gameplay for multiplayer if that's what it is, and that's it. But if all your buds are playing all the other maps, now you kind of have to buy that. But you're not in over $60. And that
kind of go on.
And then if you sell the disc for 30 or 40 that has 75% of the game on it, where maybe the single player campaign or most of the single player campaign and some of the online play. Now when you go to trade it in, you're not getting as much, and I think that might be a help here, because that way there, if you want to experience the full game, you now have to go and download it. And now it's a give and take from both people. So now I'm only spending $30 or $40 on a game, and if I want to trade it in, well, I'm not going to get much, but at least I'll get something. And then if I download the extra stuff, I know I can't trade that in anymore. That's mine, and I own it, and that's that. So I'm giving up some money on a trade-in, but I can still get something. And then the developers and the publishers and everybody, they're now, like I say, everybody that's going online to play will download this extra $20 or $30 worth of stuff. That might be some sort of workable solution.
And I think that gets back to what we were talking about over Xbox one day when Edie first sent the link to the Total Biscuits talking about used games. And we were talking about the family plan for Xbox. How, like, if used games are really such a disastrous, have such a disastrous impact on the market of gaming, that these people with the Xbox family plan, these publishers, are really willing to give away essentially 10 free copies of a game for every one copy purchased. I mean, that does suggest that used games are really, really damaging, but that also suggests that maybe the model you use to sell them is really fucked up.
Yeah, they were selling.
If you're willing to give away 10 for every one,
yeah,
like there's something more inherently wrong with your model than just used games.
Right.
Like, there's something much deeper than that.
Yeah, and
well, I think that's what they were trying to get to. Is they were trying to get to 100% digital distribution, which I am 10% behind. I've always been behind that.
No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm. I am, but not in the way Xbox was going to do it.
No,
they were doing it the wrong way.
I don't want to have to sit there for 7 hours and download a game where I can get on and get it and be playing right immediately and use those 7 hours to play. I don't want to have to clog up my hard drive. I don't have to clog up my internet.
Well, and that's also the problem. Like I have like a 2 terabyte hard drive, so I install like every game I get from Steam. Well, mostly everyone, but like with Xbox, having the 500 gig limit. And mandatory installs of what are probably 20 gig Blu-ray games.
Right.
It's a
that
problem.
fills up pretty fast.
Yeah,
right.
So you have to be deleting and putting on and reinstalling. It's like, hey, let's go back and play Borderlands 3. Oh, well, hang on. I got to install it because I don't have enough room.
Right.
So
I don't know that you would needed to install to the hard drive. You might have just needed to install it to the cloud.
That doesn't make any sense.
I thought they said
true. It's got a point, but you pull it. I don't know. I don't know what their technology was, but I have always been a huge fan of digital downloads, especially day one digital downloads. That's my biggest frustration with them. And they promised that, and I wanted it.
You can do it, but you can have both, though.
Right? They need to have had both.
They're already going to have day one digital downloads.
But you shouldn't make that you shouldn't make that the law.
Yeah. You can have both.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they have both, I'm okay with it. I just don't like to be forced to do something and rely on my internet all the time to do that. I like having the disc in my hand and playing that. I do.
And I think that was the biggest flaw of Xbox's thinking, is that they were getting too far ahead of themselves.
Right.
Is that it's fine to go to digital distribution, but you can't force people to do it. You have to convince them to do that.
Right. You have to show me.
Show them. Make it an option. Yeah. Show me how it works. Show me how great it is. And then we'll all go that way.
And honestly, all of Goalie's concerns about, I want a disc would have immediately dried up if they'd have rolled it out, been kind of cool about it, rolled the motherfucker out, and the goalie could find out that it only takes like 3 minutes to download a game. Or
Yeah,
that you would
exactly.
set it to download the night before and wake up the next morning and it's automatically download. And it loads so much faster and it plays so much faster and it's so much more improved than what you have on a disc. It's like, why not?
Yeah, but just the problems that I've run into, you've run into about downloading and all the cloud base and the hiccups, and sometimes I'll sit there and I'll just do a small update, and it'll take forever to download, like 65 megabytes sometimes. Like, holy cow, what is the deal? So I can't imagine trying to download 20 gigs. How long that's going to take? And going back to what Nick said about the whole how you do business. When you come out and say, well, we sold 2 million copies of a game and it's a failure, that's a problem. That is what was it, Tomb Raider? Well, we didn't sell the 5 million. We only sold 3 or whatever their numbers were. Well, if if those are your expectations and everybody's going to get fired and be out of a job because you didn't sell 5 million copies, you only sold 3 million, something's not right there. It's like saying if my team doesn't win the Stanley Cup, we failed and we got to fire everybody. One team out of 30 wins the Stanley Cup, so 29 teams are considered failure.
You're in second out of 30, and you're going to fire everybody.
Exactly. You can't shoot the moon like that and expect everything to be a hit.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, speaking of being a hit, did you happen to catch Lewis Black talking about the Xbox One on Back in Black on Daily Show?
No,
oh, fuck.
But I would love to.
Okay, I'm going to play the audio so you guys can hear it. It's hilarious. Hold on.
The NSA scandal has made us all a little skeptical of our technology. And with the next wave of space toys coming out, you might be wondering, are the trade-offs worth it? Well, if anyone knows anything about the latest in technology, it's moi. Let's take a look.
Google's first bid in that market is Glass, which goes on your face.
Okay, Glass, hang out with the Flying Club.
Google photos of tiger heads.
Google jellyfish.
Oh, well, thanks, Glasses. I never would have figured out I was at the aquarium looking at jellyfish. At least I know one thing I could use them for.
So this is interesting. People who own Google glasses not going to be able to watch porn on them.
Not so fast, Google. I think you underestimating my ability to masturbate to jellyfish.
Wow. That is very well said, Lewis.
Who the are you?
It doesn't. That's a fair point. I apologize. Carry on.
Come on, Tech World. If you're going to take us into the future, don't give us new ways to be on the go. The best part of new technology is that it lets us sit on our ass. That's what I was so excited about the new Xbox until I saw this.
So the Xbox that hasn't come out yet, but it's coming, has this motion sensor that detects not only your every move and what you say, it detects facial expressions. Germany's Federal Data Protection Commissioner called the Kinect a twisted nightmare.
When the Germans are calling your product a twisted nightmare, you might want to consider taking another pass at it. But fine. The Xbox is tracking my every move, as long as that's the only thing it does.
You're seeing yourself represented here in 3 dimensions. We can look for patches of your skin and look at micro fluctuations in the blood underneath your skin. And here you can see that we've zoomed in your face and we can show if you're neutral or smiling.
Tell you what, Microsoft, instead of reading my face, why don't you just read my hand? No need to zoom in. I'm telling you to f*** off. Why in the world would I ever allow a machine that can monitor my every thought and movement into my home?
Researchers at Cornell University, go Big Red, say they've created a robot that can tell when you want a beer and then pour said beer for you.
That robot is equipped with a Kinect device, which is the same thing that's on the Xbox 360.
Well, let me begin by apologizing to Microsoft about the middle finger thing, because there is no amount of private information I won't give you to be served a beer by a robot. But I know what you're thinking. Are beer butlers the best technology has to offer?
Some 30 years from now, we might be living the lives of James Cameron's avatars. That's the dream of Russian multimillionaire Dmitry Itskov. The 2045 initiative is striving to prolong life by eventually uploading the human brain into holograms or androids.
Well, that's really cool until you think about it. Now, who decided this crappy generation is the one that deserves to live forever? If this avatar technology existed 80 years ago, there'd be a bunch of giant blue racists running around, and I'm pretty sure Avatar Strom Thurmond wouldn't be okay with President Obama. To me, the fact that we all eventually drop dead is not a bug. It's a feature. It's the only way we rid our society of old ass. New guy?
Thank you, Lewis. Lewis Black, ladies and gentlemen.
So, Gully, would you or would you not be okay with a butler, a beer butler that would just know you have needed a beer and bring it to you?
No, that's why I got married. What the hell do you think she's for?
Does she do it?
If I ask her, yes, give me a beer.
She would do that?
Activated.
Yeah. Why do we need to connect it in the house when I get her?
Sure.
All right. I'm with you there.
It was a funny little skit, though. But yeah, it is just creepy that this thing is going to be on and monitoring and looking at you. And even if it's all true that it's just nothing, it's still creepy.
It's creepy. Definitely.
You know, we're going to detect the blood under your skin and
Yeah. That's the part that is a little bit creepier than when you have a camera that is actually more advanced and can tell more about you than another human being can tell about you. That's when it kind of walks over into that line of just give me a case of the hose.
Technology, it's coming a long way, but I mean, there's good and bad. Yeah. It's a lot of it is good. I mean, I love the fact that I can sit here and I can download a book in a flash, and I can start reading a book, or I can download a movie and watch a movie when I want. That's the drive-through nation that we live in, and that's really good. But you know, there's a lot of intrusiveness that goes on, and what's even creepy too is when you go on Facebook, or even when you go to certain websites I go to, and I see an ad come up for hockey, or ad come up for Exotic PC, because I just ordered on my laptop from Exotic PC. It's like, how do these guys know what to put up for ads that are going to, be relevant to me? That's what's creepy.
Right.
Is that somewhere there's a database on me, and when I go cruising around, it's constantly hitting me with hockey things and stuff like that. Because, back in the day, it would just be a generic ad. It's like, yeah, whatever. But now it's,
Yeah. In other news, anybody following the whole Paula Deen thing?
A little bit.
Really? You don't find watching a kind of, I don't know, I guess you'd call her controversial Food Network star who's kind of annoying. I think that everybody can agree she's motherfucking annoying. To be completely dismantled.
I've never heard or seen enough of her.
It's just trying to bring down and it's like when Martha Stewart went down. Everybody cheered because a rich bitch.
Oh, no. Well, yes. Everybody, but for different reasons. Paula Deen was horrible. Do you know, I didn't really. I never watched Paula Deen except like literally it's passing through the channels on the way to something else. Do you know that? This what started her big thing was people being like anti Paula Deen is that she would make these dishes and give recipes for things that no human being should put in his or her mouth ever.
Just the most god awful,
horrible things.
Deep fried Twinkie cake.
Oh God! And when this whole thing started coming down, I looked up Paula Deen's worst recipes. And do you know that lots of people have like, top 10 things that Paula Deen has made that you should never put in your mouth? And I was really amazed at what horrible. I mean, they sounded delicious, but things that never should be put into your mouth, like making cheesecake with 2 pounds of butter. And it's like a butter cheesecake, and then rolling it in egg roll wrappings and then deep frying it. But the thing that was really surprised me was the what was it? A Krispy Kreme bread pudding, where you get a dozen Krispy Kremes, which are like 250 calories each.
Solid sugar.
Right. A dozen Krispy Kremes, and you chop them up, and then you cover it in a pound of butter, sweetened condensed milk, and then like raisins and stuff like that. And it comes out to something like a pan of it comes out to something like 15,000 calories. So a serving was something like 1,000 calories. And it's like, why would you, in any good conscience, make something like this and then show people how to make it and how delicious? It's so delicious. And then she comes out that she's a type 2 diabetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. So anyway, Caesar's casinos have just closed all of her restaurants that they have inside of their casinos. So she's losing everything. It's all coming apart. Come on, Schadenfreude. Seriously, who doesn't love to see a celebrity get taken down?
Well, you have to know the celebrity. If it happens to a stranger, why do you care? If a tree falls on a stranger in the woods, why do you care?
Look, I have never in my life heard a Chris Brown song. Doesn't mean I didn't enjoy seeing his ass get thrown in jail and everybody still bringing up the fact that he beat up Rihanna, which I have never heard a Rihanna song in my life either.
But you at least know of him. Like, I've barely ever even heard of Paula Deen.
Really? God, I must be just...
Other than just the stuff about her being a diabetic a couple years ago.
Yeah. But
It's like, dick move, but...
dick move. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
It's watching the rich tumble. That's all it is. It's watching the celebrity go down, and it's class warfare. That's all it is.
I don't disagree with you. It's just that I want to know the person I'm watching fail. I want to have that personal connection to their misery.
Jason Webb in here. The splooge sangria. Remember that? We talked about that.
That was Happy Endings episode 1.
Was that number 1?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
We talked about splooge.
What did my burp sound like or taste like? That's what Nick said coffee and you said splooge sangria.
Oh, my God.
Because you're classy.
That's the latest rage.
Squeegee says a friend of mine calls Krispy Kreme's lard soufflés. They are!
Yes, yes.
And one is delicious. Forbes has a really good article. I was kind of sort of reading. I'm having a hard time concentrating. Like I said, my English skills are going down because of the drugs. But how Sony's PS4 beat the Xbox One on price. It's a really interesting...
like a breakdown of what's in the box?
Not what necessarily was in the box because they don't have a good sense of it, but what Sony was trying to do versus what Microsoft was trying to do and how that ended up costing them. The fact that Microsoft is putting the Kinect in the box and kind of forcing people to do it, to do the camera thing, whereas Sony makes the camera add-on. And not forcing them, but then that Microsoft says that they're kind of getting themselves into a kind of a pickle with the whole camera thing but They say by making the camera an add-on that Sony has well, I'll read the quote. Sony, this is from, let's see. This is IGN. IGN wrote this. Said, by relegating the camera to $59.99 add-on, Sony has ensured the opposite. A climate of codependency wherein PlayStation 4 camera adoption will hinge upon compelling software, but compelling software will only arrive after PlayStation 4 camera adoption. So they got themselves in a catch-22 with the camera. But they're saying that camera is an optional experience, and if you want to have it, great. And if you don't want to have it, that's great.
Somebody was saying, I don't know if it was Piss Boy or if it was somebody I was listening to on a show, was really thinking that Xbox was going to release an Xbox One without the camera, and that they would, I don't want to say going backwards or whatever, but they were just realizing what people wanted, and some people just are really staying away from Xbox One because of that camera that has to be plugged in, and they're thinking that, you know, at some point, just like, you know, they have all these different, Xboxes 360s that they released. You can have the hard drive or not the hard drive or this or that. That they're thinking that the Xbox One could be released in some kind of fashion that does not have the Kinect that might come in a little cheaper.
Yeah, that's right. It's called the Xbox 360. It's gonna be. They've made it clear that, and they didn't do a very good job of spinning it properly. But it's like, if you want all of these features, and you want your television and your DVR, and you want the Kinect, and you want all these things, it's called the Xbox One. If you don't want all these things, if you just want a thing that plays a game where the camera is optional, it's called the Xbox 360. And by the way, here's a brand new Xbox 360 that's super fast. That was kind of their answer so far.
Yeah. But you know what really stinks is like the PlayStation 4 is going to play all the new games and be the 360. That's what sucks is the camera's optional on 360, and it does all these great things, and the PS4 is going to do all that, or at least claiming to do all that.
Right.
Well, yeah, I'm interested in what like the PSN will be on PS4, because it sounds like Sony also says that they'll have day one digital
downloads,
things to download, that you could download multiplayer or single player separately, so that they're offering that whole same digital future that Microsoft was promising, but they're making it optional. And that seems like a real great middle ground to basically incentivize digital purchases over physical purchases, but don't take away physical purchases.
They need to have both.
At least initially, they need to have both. I think eventually people will realize that the physical disc is so important.
8 years from now, that's when Steam can put out their digital-only Steam box.
Right.
And no one will complain or bat an eye.
But I believe that we're in the transition of going that way. It's almost like if they come out with a card that says, no, you have to plug it in at night into the outlet. You can still put gas in it and drive it around, but you have to plug it in. We're not there yet. We're not at the point where you are made to do certain things. You have to be online. You have to download. Not quite there yet. Getting there.
Well, it's also a matter of like the ISPs and the cable companies, putting up data caps and having things like that. Like with the mobile stuff, you have companies finding more and more ways to get people to use mobile data, and then mobile companies putting more and more restrictions on what you can use.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a complete like butting heads here where someone comes out with a product that says like, hey, we're going to stream video games, and this is going to use like 10 gigabytes an hour of streaming data. And then you have the people controlling that interconnection saying, you're going to have to pay like $50 per extra gig. You go over your limit. And you can't have those two things in the same society. Like one of them has to give. Either the tech company has to stop creating things that use data, or the cable company has to give you unlimited data, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where the heads are going to butt with all of the digital downloads and stuff, especially with the combine that with movies, combine that with music, all the streaming that's going
all
on.
The streaming that
we're going to start
streaming.
Huge. Oh my God, streaming irregularly. Fortunately, I really only stream anime, which does not consume nearly the same amount of bandwidth as a whatchamacallit, a regular movie, a live action film. But my God, those data caps are going to be have to be revisited. But I think it's a good thing. I would love to see more streaming. I would love to see more people hitting those data caps, because the minute that those data caps start getting hit, that's when the vast majority of American people will go walk on up into Washington and say, get rid of these motherfucking data caps, because nobody cared, because nobody's hit one. But when everybody starts hitting them, that's when dam's gonna have to break. Yeah, that's kind of the downside for the United States when it comes to the 1%, is they would love to control everything, but they can't, because we control the vote.
Do you want to get that notice, though, that says, you've hit your data cap, so you got to wait 4 more days till the first of the month, and then you can start a new one? I mean,
no one wants that.
You don't want that. You don't want to be at the point where, I've reached the end, and hopefully you'll never get that, but that's a reality of it.
Right.
And I know we're playing the what if game, and what if this, what if that, but you got to keep all these things you have to consider. You can't just go in blind saying, I'm going to download everything and put it all here. Because, like Nick said, 500 gigabyte hard drive, you're going to fill that up. Mm-hmm. Your data cap, if you download all your games and you want to stream movies and you want to play YouTube videos, you could hit that data cap.
Yeah.
So these things are a reality. They're not common, they're not whatever, but they are there, and it's something that you do have to consider. That there are physical limits to some of these things when you want to do everything digitally. That's why I say we're not quite there yet.
Yeah, but nobody cares. Honestly, nobody. If people cannot put their hands on it, if people cannot see it, it's kind of like Xbox One. They can say a lot of things. Well, yeah. But if you've never hit a data cap, you don't give a fuck about a data cap.
If it doesn't affect you,
you don't give a shit. So, they're not going to really start wrapping their heads around the idea of a data cap until they get the message, until they can't download anything on the internet, until they can't look at their kitten videos on YouTube because their kid downloaded a couple of movies and 3 games. That's the only thing that's going to get rid of data caps. It's just the nature.
I have to say, for people complaining about Comcast, like I don't know if they have a data cap, and I think if it is, I heard it was like 250 gigs, which is a lot.
A lot.
It is a lot, yeah.
And that's like, okay, thumbs up for Comcast. Whatever else people hate about them, their high-end data cap or lack of one is admirable.
But also remember, all right, perfect example. Only data cap I've ever hit. I hit a data cap this month on my phone, my cell phone.
Yeah, mobile is where people get fucked.
Right. And unfortunately, it was not our fault. Kevin had an app hang, and it ate up all our data. So I don't know what our bill's going to be, but Kevin's fucking paying it.
Ugh.
Yeah. And we hit that like 10 days ago, and I got the message. So motherfucker's going to have to pay me up because I pay for both the phone bills. He's going to, and we do the sharing. And if he did something that stupid where he didn't feel his fucking phone, and as soon as you feel your phone warm up, you got to restart it. And that bastard ate up all our data. So we'll see what happens. I wonder how expensive is it to pitch your data cap?
I don't know. It depends on the company.
Was it that Russian mail order bride app?
No, it was not the Russian mail order bride app. I have no idea what it was, but I told him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that happened." I'm like, "All right."
Yeah. So not only did you hit the data cap, you also ordered like 500 Russian brides.
So awesome. Svetlana, you can clean my house.
Oh, Svet will clean the
Irina,
house.
cat box. Now. We'll just
Nadia is my favorite.
Nadia. Hey, seriously, the weeds in the front yard, over one.
Nadia does not do weeding.
Nadia,
you're going back to Russia.
Listen, Nadia, you want to stay in country? You want to stay USA? Go USA. Pick up the weeds.
Nadia stay. Nadia wants sada with Russian dressing.
Let's see what else.
In Russia, you don't play Xbox. Xbox plays you.
got an invitation from somebody that makes absolutely no sense. God, seriously, people, Facebook, if you're going to send private messages, please just try to put them in English.
I like it when I get invitations to go to something halfway across the country. It's like, I know you probably just sent it to everyone, and I would do the same thing, but it's just, I'm not going to go to your spaghetti dinner night in Iowa. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
So can you whittle it down when you send out the invite? Because when I get them, I'll take them more serious.
Right.
When it's something I think I could do.
Right.
When I'm going to try out for a hockey team in California, no, I'm not going to go to your tryout in California. I don't even play at that level, come on.
Oh, my favorite ones are always the invitations to something slots. Put any noun in there, slots. And, Pharaoh slots or apple slots or farming slots or whatever. Horsey slots. And it's like, why are you sending this to me? Do you not read? I don't even put up with Candy Crush Saga. I don't even put up with friends of mine on my friends list complaining about Candy Crush Saga, much less invites. And yet I get them. Really? Invitations? You never receive? Well, you're never on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Nobody talks to you because you're never on.
Like I get the occasional notice, and I'll get an email that says you have outstanding notifications, but they're never invitations to games.
Right, because nobody invites you to games because you don't have any friends. Nobody loves you. You don't have any friends.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, but you better start going to the forums. I have just enough
friends to populate my Last of Us clan.
You have a Last of Us clan?
No, the Survivor clan in the multiplayer. It takes your Facebook friends and uses their names.
Oh, that's funny. That's right. You told me about that. All right. Well, it's been an hour, and I'm really high enough now that I can't keep track of the conversation at this point. So,
then this is when it gets good.
Okay, go. Be good.
I have nothing.
There you go, Goalie. Go be funny. That's your job. Be funny now.
All right, yeah.
Svetlana, be funny.
Nick doesn't like social media. Nick's version of social media is licking a stamp.
Oh.
Kinda.
See,
like, Nick, get on Facebook and Twitter. Social media is not sending letters. Nobody writes letters anymore, Nick.
That's not true. I write letters.
But that's what I mean. Nobody.
Usually to men in prison, but that's okay. What? They're very nice.
I'm not judgmental.
Mm-hmm.
We all have our...
They tell me I'm pretty.
You write very nicely.
You have nice handwriting.
Handwriting's sexy.
Yeah, your handwriting sounds cute.
You're not a fast reader, so I'm writing this really slow.
Little does he know Svetlana was the one writing the letter.
Svetlana, you whore! You lie! You lie to me! Go back to Russia, you lying Svetlana whore.
No, it's Nadia.
Nadia.
She's gonna go to
Nadia and Svetlana have always had a grudge against each other.
That's right. Actually, there we go. Nadia, Svetlana, have a pillow fight. To the death.
Almost kiss.
Last one standing gets to stay in the country.
Oh.
All right.
Vic was bad.
I know. I'm sorry. This is totally the Benadryl. I will not recall this conversation 20 minutes from now.
I don't know. The idea of having a male Auto-Russian bride fighting ring. I think you might be onto something, Goalie.
How bad do you want me? How bad do you want me?
Olga. That's what Blaster Boyd says in the chat room. Oh my God. All right.
It's just getting good now. No, I don't want to hear the all right.
All right, fine. I'll just stay here and just be high.
It reminds me of one of my old girlfriends. All right. No. Just stay right there. I'm not done playing video games.
I have so much work to do. I'm sorry, by the way. I'm sorry that not Happy Endings, but the regular Game House show is late. It's being really like on drugs and stuff really makes it hard to actually focus and concentrate to be able to do an editing of a show. So I'm going to try my best to do it today, but I probably won't. It'll probably actually be up late. Oh, hey, since we're talking about things not happening, next week's 4th of July, dudes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is.
Oh, it's the 3rd, actually.
Yes. In fact, we've got 6 days till 4th of July. I am not going to be here for the 5th. So no happy endings next week and probably no show. So this is the last time for... Wait, no, I'm looking at June. Hold on. July
3rd is Wednesday.
July. Wednesday. Oh, okay. Yeah, July 3rd. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to be here for July 3rd because I'm going to be camping. So probably from Tuesday until Friday or Saturday. So yeah, so we're dark next week. No happy endings, and we're gonna have a break in the shows. Although I have 2 shows sitting here waiting to go out, so I may put one out probably tomorrow, and then put another one out next week, like the 2nd. So we'll be essentially making 2 shows spread over 3 weeks.
Maybe me and Nick will do a happy endings.
You want to do a happy endings? Yeah, go ahead.
We'll see.
That's what I love about Spreaker is I know that you guys can do this. I don't have to worry about editing.
We could so do this.
We could so do
yeah.
this.
We could so do this. We should so take a
totally.
Oh, would you be my mommy? Would you be my mommy?
What? Ew.
No, that was
over the line. Over the line. Don't care where it was from.
No, that was
here's the line, and where there is goalie.
That was Boogie Nights.
I was talking to Nadia, not you, Edie.
Okay.
That was Boogie Nights. You didn't see that scene in Boogie Nights?
I think I saw. I know I saw Boogie Nights, but it didn't make that big impression on me.
Who was the blonde girl that was in Austin Powers movie?
Heather Graham.
Heather Graham.
She was on the bed with Julianne Moore, and they were doing cocaine. And they're like, we should take a pottery class. We should so do that. Yeah, would you be my mommy? Would you be my mommy? I will be your mommy. We're all choked out. So that's where that was from. But no one got the book reference.
All right. If you have to explain it, it was a bad reference.
Oh, there's so many classic lines in that movie.
So, are we ready to go yet?
Yeah, because I want to go play something. I don't know what I'm going to play. I might go back to my racing games because it's mindless and fun. I'm not going to think about anything and just crash my car.
Yeah, I don't think I could do Last of Us, so I may get on and just do State of Decay and just whack things. I'm really want that bug to get fixed. I don't know if did I mention it already that State of Decay is bugged?
Yeah, it's bugged. Yeah, you were saying that.
Yeah, well, I said it on the regular show, but it didn't say it in here. Yeah, it sucks that can't finish it. But it's a good enough game that I'll forgive it just because it's that fun a game. Blackspear Void says, Katrina, my root beer now. I'll be in my Twyla. All right, so, gentlemen and lady, she's still in the room. Thank you so much for listening to the happy endings. We got Blackspear Void, AC Wraith. We had Jason Webb. We had Dave, the Let's You Squeegee, and God. I really wish there was a way just to see who was in the chat room, an easy way.
M-Hawk, remind us, Christmas in July.
Oh, Christmas in July is coming in. That's right, Christmas in July, July 25th, so we got a month. So that's good. Tanya in the chat room. Corey, thank you so much for listening, you guys.
Pissed.
God, can't forget pissed.
He's going to be pissed.
I know.
He already is pissed.
All right, now before I leave, I am going to put the name of the website up on our Spreaker chat, inside the Spreaker chat, so you can see it. Most of you are actually already in as the beta testers on our Spreaker or on our forums, but always like to open it up to a few more people. So I am putting it in here. That is the website for our forums beta testing. So go to that site, sign up, register, snoop around, try to use it, chat. We're going to be rolling that out probably not 4th of July weekend, but the week after that. We got essentially some heavy duty maneuvering to do. We may actually roll it out before we do the heavy duty maneuvering first.
When do you think that's coming out again?
Probably. Well, I'm anticipating the week of the. I'll say week of the 15th. It may come out the week of the 8th.
July?
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, after the 4th. Okay.
Yeah, after the 4th. Either I'm gonna say the 2 weeks after the 4th because I know what's going to happen is that after the 4th I'm gonna try and roll it out. And I'm gonna spend my whole week banging my head up against a wall because something doesn't work. And then it'll probably come out the week of the 15th. So I'll just say right now, assuming everything goes as I expect, which will be shitty, the week of the 15th. And if it goes well, then you're going to get a little earlier. So
okay.
Good enough.
All right. So ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you not next week, but the week after next show for Happy Endings.
Maybe next week.
That's right. Maybe next week. You won't talk to me, but you might talk to Goalie and Nick tomorrow. Or sorry, not tomorrow. Wednesday, July 3rd would be the next one. All right.
I agree. Jason Webb, Last of Us is so good.
Yeah.
I heard that after the initial scene, it went downhill. That's just what I heard.
No. You would hate it. You die a lot. Oh my god, that game is so fucking hard.
They make you die a lot. And I heard you tried to sneak around and you couldn't sneak around, and you're in the bushes and they still see you in the bushes. And
right, yeah, it's as primarily stealth game, and the nature of stealth games is you get seen a lot, and then you die, and then you have to start all over.
Kill the normals. Run from the clickers.
See,
actually, don't run from them. Just stay still. Throw a brick.
Right, throw a brick and walk away.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they're blind.
Yeah, they can't see you. Which is good, because if they could, then it would be all over. All right.
And if we get, if the BioShock Infinite DLC comes out, we will have an emergency. So stay tuned for that.
Yep. All right, I'm out. Bye.
All right, take care of your throat. Bye.
Later.